Hello everyone, welcome back and Happy New Year or Happy New a Christian cycle because that's what time is. I was thinking to start the year with an important topic, something that affects everyone. You can see that from the title, mental health. I've been talking to you about things like this in private messages or replying to you in comments, but I was asked also to go a little bit deeper into this problem, into the situation, this thing that affects everyone and everything. Well, that's what I'm going to do today, but I'm not going to do it in a way that you expect, like I'm going to give you 3 tips to overcome anxiety or things like that, because that would be a lie, because this is so complex and there's no real or easy way out of this, and I will explain in a bit why. We live in a time of great change. So of course things are not the same as they used to be, and everything right now is so accelerated, and all these things that come to the surface, all these things that haven't, the problems, things that have been kept down inside of us are trying to reach the surface, because as I said, in higher thought realities these things cannot exist. So it's a time of great cleansing, if you want, and that's why I always emphasize the cleaning process, the cleaning oneself continuously, is because you cannot move forward in this type of reality without dealing with this, what you have inside first. So when you say that, my life has been destroyed, or I lost my job, or things like that, or all sorts of natural catastrophes, like, wow, these things are happening right now, how am I supposed to deal with this? This is too much. I'm stressed about my job. I don't know if I'm going to have a job or money or to pay rent, this and that and whatever. And it's understandable, because until now it has been a reality based on this type of parameters, this type of limitations, and which have basically suffocated people, and have created this kind of toxic environment, because, well, fear can create all sorts of distortions, and because of that some people become greedier, but this is happening because of fear in the end, of not having enough. And I explained previously, this has been a reality where well, it was a finite reality, so the fight for resources has been enormous, and still is in a way, because, as I said, this is not everyone will access the same reality in the future. So depending what you're doing right now, the direction that you have taken already, you will experience the reality that you've basically worked for, prepared for. So yes, some people prepare for a reality that is not abundant, that is limited. However, for some of us, the reality has changed and is starting to open up, and there's a lot of possibilities, things, ideas, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they show up and make the reality much easier. But going back to this type of situation where you feel like, my life is destroyed, why this thing has happened to me, how am I supposed to deal with this situation, the loss of a partner, a job, life, whatever, life of a dear one, or things like that, how am I supposed to think, how am I supposed to be positive in this kind of context? And it's not even about being positive, it's about looking inside. All these things right now, they force us to go inside, go within, and look at the things that until now have basically blocked the light inside us. And the cleaning process is its purpose is to actually create space. Even this catastrophes, tragedies, all sorts of things like this are in the end meant to pull you away, to give you perspective, and to look at things, because when you're inside them, all you want is, like, you're one with the pattern. So for most people, they don't have the perspective, like, oh, this is a pattern, what am I doing here, why am I doing this? So it forces you to get out of it and look at it, And of course, in the beginning, it's painful, and that's what most people see. It's the pain, and most people are trapped in this layer where, like, why this happened to me? What have I done wrong? Why? I've been there myself, but I moved on. It's not an easy job to go through so many, especially if you have to go through so many, repeatedly through so many painful situations, a lot of suffering and things like that. And it's like, why me? When you, in the end, you are pulled out of that thing, and it's like, look, please look what I'm trying to show you. But of course, in the beginning, you will see only the pain of that thing that has been taken away from you. So you're going to linger there for a long time saying, why? And you have to let this pain go through you. That's another thing. You cannot hide the pain. You cannot just like, I'm going to forget about it or hide it or swipe it under the rug. No, that's not going to work. It's a time where you really have to confront everything that's inside, and that's really painful. At this point, it doesn't work like, oh, I'm going to just do some meditation and forget about the problems. If you do that, I told you, this is another way of like running away from yourself, and that's what actually a lot of these tools right now are kind of doing. I mean, if meditation helps you to get perspective, that's great. But when you use meditation to run away from a problem, and like it's not there, like to say that I don't want to look at that. That's running away from yourself, and you're basically postponing the inevitable, which is actually living from the truth. And the more you postpone it, the painful it's getting. So the trick, the key here is to actually accept the situation, that you don't have to like it. You don't have to say, wow, it's great that I lived this tragedy and it's wonderful. No. You can even scream and curse, whatever, blah, blah. Just stay with it. Stay with that pain. Stay with that uncomfortable feeling. Stay with the whole situation, whatever you're going through. And let it pass through you, so you can see past beyond the pain, past beyond this thing that is blocking the real perception of like what source is trying to show you. Or in the end, actually also your higher self, well, through source. So you're asked to see beyond certain patterns so you can actually move forward, because if you cannot see beyond those things, how should I put this? People don't know what freedom is here. And because you don't know it, you will fight against it. It sounds strange, but well, I know what I'm talking about. You will see that too at some point. It's really painful to actually, as I said, to step outside of those things, because that's what you've known until now. Though you have the safety of that pattern, that structures, like that has been your home, and it's not a bad thing. It's just right now you're like, look, there's more. So step outside. I know it's scary, it's horrible, it's just. But you really have to step outside of that pattern or those things or those situations, so you have a higher perspective and see what you must see in order for you to move forward. And yes, that's the most uncomfortable. That's the thing that scares the most, and it's like trying to fix it with little things like running away. I don't know. There's all sorts of forms of There's all sorts of form of escapism, like alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever, food, and you can do that for a while. But at some point, you really have to come back to it, and it's like, okay, surrender to it, and just be with it, because there's no easy way out of this. And when you understand that all what Source wants to do is just to give you another perspective and actually basically free you from the pattern, it's like, look, I'm trying to remove you, don't resist, please. Don't resist. Let me show you. Then you will stop resisting that much as you did like in the beginning, and you will accept, and then at some point you will see what you need to see, and it'll be like, oh, okay. And yeah, and all that pain and all that thing was worth it in the end. Well, it is worth it, although in the moment when you're going through all those horrible things, it is what it is. It's not easy. But then again, we're not here because it's easy. Yeah, so I don't have any like easy tips, like how do we get away from anxiety? How do we stop having these negative thoughts? You have to understand there's so many layers of things that are going right now, depending on the internal environment, energetic internal environment that you actually have inside yourself, due to whatever you are right now, the core beliefs, whatever you think it's possible, how you see life, what your filters are, and things like that. That will make possible for certain experiences to transpire, to exist in your awareness and in your reality. But as you change those things, that reality starts to change as well, and the chaos and the havoc start to disappear as you actually purposefully, as like intentionally, you look at the things that you don't like, all those uncomfortable things, you confront them and you transcend them. Only then you can actually like start to like have peace, because then it's like, okay, you understood, you have created that space, you've moved forward. Then there is less challenging things, although there's other, in a way, challenging things, but on a different level. There is still interference, and like I told you, there is distortion factor, which means a lot of things, and that doesn't make things easy at all. But then again, when you don't run away from yourself, it's much easier to take control of your power. And when you have that real power, when you can access that kind of power, then it's much harder to actually be deterred, to be derailed that easily, to hold negative thoughts for longer, to be down like for longer periods of time. So you have to undertake this cleaning process, like intentionally, on purpose. You have to look at things. You have to want to look at things, and it's not a thing that you do 5 minutes now, like this kind of like meditation. Oh, I'm going to, because it's trendy. There's a million apps where you can do all this kind of things. It's not a bad thing if that helps you to get some perspective, to, I don't know, help you balance so you can have clarity. Do that. But when you use, as I said, when you use those things just to like forget that those problems exist somewhere in the background, that's not really a solution. That's just postponing the inevitable, and the inevitable has to be dealt with. That's the thing. So yeah, and mental health in the end, I mean, in this period of time, in this great period of changes, there's no such thing as like, you should not blame yourself for, oh, today I fell down or whatever. Yes, you might have to have periods of time where things are not pink. They are not the way you want them, and be with them. It's just as long as you accept them and you look at what you're supposed to learn, and after you have processed all that thing and you got the essence, that's already a step forward. You moved forward. You managed to, like, okay, you shifted. So that's what's important in it. It's not just like how many hours or whatever, how much time I spend like being positive. You will spend more time being positive as you clean yourself continuously. That's the truth. There's no easy like, oh, yes, I'm going to be positive right now. I'm going to be like this, and nothing is going to affect me. As long as there is garbage, there is noise, there's things inside you, they will affect you, and there will be triggers for that. So yeah, and we go back again to clean and clean some more, because that's the most important, and there's no way around it. I hope this was interesting and helpful. See you next time. Ciao. Finally, the things that were attached to me, finally, it's that time where we're separating. Well, we're separating for a long time now.